Over 4.5 billion years old, Earth is a place of wonder, a place of unparalleled beauty, but also a place of terror. A place where every animal must kill and eat another one just to ensure another day of its existence. In this series, we're gonna look into a curious creature, the cuck. Now this one is a very peculiar one. Against all nature, it has no drive to reproduce. Indeed, if it does even have a drive, scientists have determined that its only drive can be collecting shitty little plastic toys or giving money to random women they'll never actually meet. It's a very skittish creature, one that will give predators anything they want. But when it does fight, it only fights other cucks. Welcome to Monster Cuck Wars! Today's episode takes us to Twitch.tv, which used to be a vast, beautiful, unexplored jungle full of counterculture and memes. It was later taken over and industrialized by politically correct Californians and e-girls. It is now a suburban wasteland.
We are doing another fitness stream by high demanding requests, and I am so happy to see you guys say
roll the dice, full senses. Actually, let's put you on the board first. Wait. Sense.
Go ahead and write you down on the board right here. Wow. Can you guys show him some love? Can you guys?
At one point, cucks were thriving on Twitch. But once the e-girls came, this was no longer the case. These invasive species came in and tore the landscape to ruin, stealing away precious viewers that the cucks needed to sustain themselves. Any cucks still left alive on this platform are feral. They are true monsters that will do whatever it takes to keep the remaining viewers away from any cucks that would challenge them.
So the main reason that people come on my stream is to actually... Was that Soylent Coco?
Yeah, am I in trouble?
As you can see, our first cuck has no shame.
But like, I'm in a poly relationship. The reason why I'm in a poly relationship is because I don't give a fuck if my girlfriend goes and fucks another guy, because I know she's coming back to me at the end of the night.
Even relative to cuck kind, no shame.
Does your girlfriend know you may be at some guy house having sex with him that night when you're out?
Well, if you know it, Jesse, what do you think?
What does she think about you having sex with guys?
We're both bisexual, so neither of us...
Oh, she has sex with women?
Sometimes, yep.
What a mess!
Fun time, Jesse.
Wow.
Absolutely no shame whatsoever. It's almost as if he's evolved that instinct away entirely.
Does Destiny like to watch you with another guy? That has never happened before. I really want to do it though. I am trying to find guys to have threesomes with because I really want to experience that with him. I want to see what would happen.
His crass unapologeticness is in a way almost admirable.
This guy says, like, he's talking about how I, like, abused my wife. He'd say it as self-defense, but have you seen his wife? I can't find the pictures of her posted on Team Liquid, but she's basically 110 pounds. She wasn't. My wife weighed more than I did. She was the same height as me, and she was not thick, but, like, she was, like, moderately built, and I was a super small guy.
This cuck is super small.
Oh, fuck. It's heavy, dude. Even this is heavy for me. Oh, God. Oh, this is the end.
And not very strong either. But size and strength mean nothing on Twitch. Stephen Bonnell, or Destiny, has a secret weapon.
I hate my fucking country because of people like you, okay? I actually fucking hate you, okay? I really do. From the bottom of my fucking heart, I think that people like you are destroyed. Like, when I have to argue with commies and socialists that tell me shit like liberals get the bullet first, fucking liberalism is dead, it's because of people like you that I can't really disagree with them.
Did you catch any of that? Me neither. This cuck talks very fast, and in a debate can gish gallop over 10 topics within a minute, leaving his opponents blindsided and dead before they even knew what hit them. This cuck is a true monster and is not to be trifled with.
Bismillah. Okay.
Alhamdulillah, it fucks you up. Beat him up.
Open up on him, he's a big boy.
Our second cuck is a monster, standing at almost 6'5" and weighing in at almost 300 pounds. This cuck seems to defy all nature. Where most of his species are short and skinny, this one is an ogre. Sank from the Young Turks' nephew, lesserly known as Hasan, is not a man to be trifled with on Twitch.
What do you normally do when you go on dates? When you went on a date with your boyfriend that's currently holding the camera?
Literally just talking.
Okay.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
What, just
No, him.
Not really. I mean, I assume that you guys have an open relationship, or you mapped it out.
Yeah,
you know?
very open.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like not about it.
Wait, you were not about the open relationship?
No, about him being here. I was like, I just didn't want you to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Raj is the one who recruited me, so.
But as long
Raj
as
would
you're
do that.
comfortable.
Raj is great with content like that.
Did you know?
What?
He's about to get a job.
Yeah, we met yesterday.
Yeah, but you're okay. That's not anything.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's not the greatest situation.
Hasan's my fucking boy.
Oh, thanks. I guess.
With dashing good looks that attract porn stars and that would make even Richard Spencer consider going through another Greco-Roman phase, it would seem that this cuck has everything. But never judge a book by its cover.
I understand that. But you understand now, and not just now, but you understood fairly soon after you said it, that saying Americans deserve 9/11 is a completely different statement and one that's wrong.
No, I didn't say Americans deserve 9/11. I said America deserves 9/11.
But that's
and
still
in that
wrong.
Moment, well, maybe you can chalk it up to English being my second language or whatever you want to chalk it up to.
With a head that's one size smaller than the average human, this cuck is very stupid, unable to even understand English.
Where political violence is way more prevalent than it is in this country. They thought, oh, they'll always be on our side, like Sacco and Vanzetti. But some of them are going to be Trump supporters. I think we might finally get liberals to oppose the caravan by saying, oh, they don't care about MS-13. They don't care about child molesters, still talking. But tell them there's some Trump supporters in that caravan.
From watching his behavior, you would think him to be a gentle giant. But don't let him fool you.
Why is Mayor Buttigieg a fucking moderator in this debate panel? Why do they keep asking him? What is this bullshit?
Terrifying.
Going to talk to a black person like Trihex and say, hey, the N-word, it's always done. What do you think black people...
What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. Holy shit, dude.
Excuse me.
Holy fucking shit, dude.
Absolutely terrifying. So terrifying is his behavior that the general populace of Twitch has even invented the scientific term molding, mad balding, to describe it. But his size and his anger issues are not the only uncommon and atypical things about this cuck.
Minority people can't really exercise racism against majority people because they don't really have the status or the power in society in order to do so.
I vote for Destiny.
It's like I wish Destiny could just come in at the beginning and give us the right answer right away instead of making us wait.
So we didn't have to list a fucking Hasan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me
feel like we have the cheat sheet right here.
Honestly, like
it's funny because like the only
it's
way
such a fucking retarded thing to say. Like I'm sorry, but like if you can't comprehend the fucking shit that I'm saying, it's on you. Okay, I'm doing as best as I'm doing.
Yeah, Wes.
You said the
Wes,
R
he
word.
literally said the exact same thing that I just said. Like, what the fuck are you guys talking
You can
about?
say retard on Twitch. Zeta Poppin says it all the time.
Fuck Twitch then.
No, wait, relax. Hey, come on now.
Jealousy. Sank's nephew is experiencing jealousy. The scientists are still baffled. Jealousy is an emotion that should not even be feelable to cucks. Yet here Sank's nephew is. He has been given everything throughout his life. His good looks, his height, his job at the Young Turks, his spot at Twitch. And even after all that, Hasan is experiencing jealousy over Destiny's intelligence. A clash is inevitable. A destined clash of fate to be seen only on Monster Cuck Wars. But first, a commercial break. With thousands of rapists, get Rape Shadow Legends now and see what all the fuss is about! Rape!
Okay, I'm 99% sure you did, but maybe it was a misunderstanding on my part.
Okay, Felix, get ready. They're gonna clip it and send his audience. Gonna clip it, send it back to you. We're gonna rewatch it. We're gonna strip it of all context whatsoever, and the only context associated with it for the rest of time. And Reddit post is going to be whatever Destiny wants. This is how Destiny debates. Get ready for it. You probably weren't aware of this. I'm just letting you know that's what's gonna happen. They will endlessly cry and cynically weaponize SJW nonsense in their subreddit while also simultaneously, arguing about how important it is to say the N-word or whatever the fuck gamers are talking about.
Well, Hasan literally defends Pete being called an F-word on fucking stream. That's rich as fuck, dude. Come on. Really?
Nephew strikes first, calling Destiny's hypocrisy into question. But Destiny immediately and efficiently retaliates and reflects that accusation back on Nephew. It is clear that both of them are failing to live up to their cuck, politically correct standards of language. The battle is at a stalemate.
I just want to know where the ladder is. So let's say you have somebody that's white and trans, and then somebody else that's gay but half black. Is the white trans person allowed to use racist or homophobic things, or only homophobic things against the black gay? Because where I come from, like generally, you don't publicly call someone an F-word. Now that's just kind of where I'm at right now in my politics. Maybe you feel differently,
Or wait, did you learn that lesson after you sent burning crosses to black people on Twitter and got banned for it, or before that?
Wait. You want to talk about context? This is when I was arguing with a person that the black experience in the United States is often
context does matter. There you go.
Wait, context matters is my argument. Wait, that was my argument the whole.
Remarkable. After Nephew sneaks in a precision strike referencing Destiny's racist Twitter escapades, Destiny manages to turn it around, showing that Hasan was arguing for Destiny's position all along.
You're out here defending homophobic slurs against a guy because you're out here defending homophobic slurs, and I'm just curious where the line is. What do you have to do in order to be able to call Pete Buttigieg an F-word and it'd be funny to you? I'm just curious.
Do you want to move on?
Don't have an answer.
Conversation.
We should move on because it seems like you literally can't answer this question.
You want to cry? You want to keep crying cynically about
I'm not
justice that you care
I'm not
about
crying at all. You're the one that can't answer the question. You literally can't even fathom answer the question because you realize how ridiculous it is. You're on the Oppression Olympics ladder system for who's allowed to make a homophobic joke to which person.
How do you try to live in the world where you literally simultaneously make fun of intersectionality by bastardizing it and calling it Oppression Olympics, but then also trying in the minds of your followers to seem like you genuinely care about social justice?
I care about intersectionality, which is why I don't use intersectionality like you are to justify making homophobic remarks towards people.
I think you can be intersectional. You can be for intersectionality on the one hand, and also not cry about every single random instance of like some random person on Twitter making a joke that you found to be tasteless. I think that is an unproductive conversation, and that I personally think that you are hypocritical in this instance. But I don't even want to get into it further. If you don't, because I think it's an unproductive and unhelpful conversation.
We're only talking about it because you felt the need to defend it on stream. So it seems like you thought it was pretty important or pretty worth talking about, or maybe you just wanted to randomly defend.
You know what? Let's move on. You're right. You won. You're right.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. Come over here. Not making homophobic slurs towards other candidates. That's great. It's a great world over here. We don't make homophobic jokes publicly towards it. You want to do it privately? That's a private joke, Hasan. Welcome to my point of view. It's actually pretty good over here.
Whether you're one of the people on that live stream scratching their heads and eating food, or a scientist deep in the study of cuckoldry, nobody has any clue of the logic of what just transpired. Intersectionality, what? It's okay to use swears and hate speech privately? But that doesn't make sense since you're admitting to doing it publicly. Nobody can understand cuck logic, but by watching Hasan's reaction, his molding, it is clear that this is a fight that he is losing. Things are not looking good for Sank's nephew.
Advocating. I was working with activists and advocating for Black Lives Matter and numerous other progressive causes while you were saying the N-word playing StarCraft, you libertarian dipshit.
When you were working with Black Lives, what does this have to do with anything that we're talking about? I don't have a family that does politics, so yeah, I don't have those connections early on like you did, of course. There's a reason why you're not working with that family now, and you're working on the platform that I built up for politics. So I mean,
I'm so glad you built up the platform so I could lap you on it. Okay?
I know, that's great. Yeah, you're slapping me real hard right now while talking about all the work that Cenk got you early on in your political career. I mean, was that supposed to be a big burn to me? What the fuck?
Write your title like Hasan.
Now up to his last legs, nephew makes a desperate counterattack. Destiny, I, nephew, was a cuck before it was cool, while you were just a normie. Against any other cuck, this move would have been fatal, but Destiny, being a monster cuck, turns it around on him. Nephew, you were a cuck because of your nepotistic cuck connections. Not all of us had cuck family like you to raise you. This is a bloodbath. Nephew is getting slaughtered.
To be inherently undemocratic, and
you realize how dumb this sounds now when you were a big fan of the process before Bernie lost to Pete on it, right?
Well,
like you realize how stupid he lost the state delegate equivalents to. He lost the state.
No,
delegate
he didn't. There's a recanvassing going on currently, and I think the outcome of that recanvassing is very likely be different than what you think it is, especially considering that there were 100 reporting errors, and beyond that, the Associated Press didn't declare a winner, the New York Times didn't declare a winner. So either you're just watching CNN and repeating the propaganda that you hear there that declared Pete Buttigieg the winner. I would ask you.
Cucks are an intricate species. They have their own caste systems, with the bulls and the Tyrones being at the top. They have their own religions and worship their own gods. Nephew's cuck god is Senator Bernie Sanders. Nephew, who is now on the last legs of his life, is not going to let Destiny take Sanders along with him. And he starts off his offensive with a great attack, accusing Destiny of being a mindless cuck sheeple that follows fake news.
Not to spread misinformation on a platform with 48,000
you're like, this is like
people.
every Jordan Peterson fan ever. Like, you're sitting here pretending like you didn't ever claim there was a conspiracy theory, but like I remember going through your giant fucking tweet thread on how you would be crazy not to say that there's not a fucking conspiracy, and now you're pretending like, oh well, I was just like kind of innocently inquiring, like I wasn't trying to say anything.
I think
you must realize how fucking
I think the conspiracy theory that you consider to be a conspiracy theory that I think is like fairly legitimate is the fact that every single person that is already very openly stated their biases against a Bernie Sanders that are lifetime political operatives in positions of power, both in the DNC.
Wait.
and
Why
both
do
in
these
the
biases
Democratic-
matter? Why do these biases matter if you can't rig a caucus, though?
Because when you're this biased in this circumstance, you can use the potential rollout of the numbers. You can freeze. You can essentially dominate the media cycle for the next 4 days after the Iowa caucus, with Pete Buttigieg as the winner, and his declaration of being the winner was correct, and that's precisely what happened.
So
And as a
how?
matter
So
of
tell me
fact,
how this worked. Do you think was there like a marching order from the
we've
top?
already passed beyond the Iowa
Oh my
caucus.
God.
We've already gone over the New Hampshire primaries, and we still don't have a fucking result from the Iowa caucus. I personally think that if this was truly a fair and free election, if people weren't as biased towards who they thought was going to be the perceived winner of the Iowa caucus leading up to the Iowa caucus, as Bernie Sanders was surging, there would have been a better system. They would have been.
That's great. So like
rehashing them to you and trying to describe them.
you're
to you, 'cause
rehashing them in the standard way that like PewDiePie would rehash his support or whatever, that you would fucking grill him over like, oh, I didn't know that this guy was or whatever. I just meant it as like a blah blah blah.
Talking about political conversations without resorting to like gamer examples, or is that the only thing that?
Why does it matter? I'm just drawing from something that like frat boy Hasan would understand because it's right up your fucking lane of political commentary, I guess.
To you, but
you literally
I'm
end a
failing to
tweet.
understand the
You
connection.
literally end a tweet thread. By the way, with half of this shit being like not even like true. Okay, you literally end this thread with like, liberals think this is so far fetched and all these things can be accounted for. Just imagine if Pete was an indigenous social leader of a Latin American country and Sanders blah blah blah.
precisely what
and
happened.
and then you're telling me with a straight face, oh no, I didn't parrot any conspiracy theories. It was just a
I'm not
hypothetical.
parroting any
LOL.
conspiracy theories. I can
All
back
right,
up.
I'm
the
good with this
results. You
topic.
agree with me, and it really frustrates you.
I don't agree
But
with
it's
half the
fine.
half the shit you said in the thread was fucking wrong. Okay, and then the conclusion you have is that very clearly there is a massive fucking conspiracy against Bernie because there's no
What
other way
happened
to
in
explain
Bolivia?
why
Not-
people.
not in the-
no,
okay,
there's
can
no
you
other
explain
way
to me
that
what
people
happened in
can
Bolivia
even.
and why it's
no,
perfectly analogous with what happened in Iowa. In the way that the election results were being delivered in Bolivia, can you explain to me exactly what happened in Bolivia and why it's perfectly analogous to what happened in Iowa without resorting to DGG right now? Say it. Explain it to me right now. If you're so fucking.
That explain
if you're
my
so-
understanding of Bolivia. One of the big problems was that the leader literally held a referendum to undo the term limits or whatever.
In the way that the results were being delivered, Destiny. In the way that the
In
results.
the way, I don't know the exact way that the results in Bolivia were being. Go ahead and deliver me whatever dumb fuck Twitter thread you were fucking reading on, dude. Please tell me exactly. Please tell me.
You motherfucker! You don't know.
And you think that in Bolivia, 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 you think that in Bolivia. Wait, hold on. I'm just curious. You think that in Bolivia the problem was with the reporting? You think the problem was with how they were reporting it? That was the only problem. It wasn't the entire. It wasn't the independent investigation that was open that found all the inconsistencies in the polling data. It wasn't the investigation. Wikipedia definition is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. This is literally the definition of a conspiracy. I don't know if you don't know what a conspiracy is. Maybe you're out of your element again because it's English second language. I know you said in the past it's trouble for you.
Yeah.
Remember,
This is a
no
conspiracy. Personal jabs, by the way. I really like Hasan, by the way. But hurt Andy.
Can you name something that's not a gamer example? Why do you keep taking personal jabs at me and they get ass mad when I do it back to you? If you can't take it, don't dish it out and stick to the fucking issues. Like, I'm not here to listen to you fucking cry after you take personal digs at me.
When we can use relevant information, when we can like actually talk about the topic at hand.
Your interactions are cute. Even this is cute.
Can we at least admit that the information about Iowa that is a conspiracy? Like by definition, you're literally.
Look at this, dude. I can't. Okay, brother. Listen, brother. Read up a little bit more. Okay, read up a little bit more.
But try as he might, it is too late for Nephew and Sanders. They are already caught in Destiny's gish-galloped web of in-befores. As we all know, conspiracies never ever happen, and if you call anything a conspiracy, that instantly makes the thing you're calling a conspiracy not true. The fight is over. Nephew and Sanders will now be digested by Destiny and turned into Soylent for his consuming pleasure.